Welcome to Kilburn Mill. We have a live event tonight and it's gonna blow your mind. My mind's already blown because I'm sitting next to a legend that is like one of my heroes, one of the people I never in a million years would have ever thought that I would meet, much less get to have a conversation with. So I'm the most thrilled person in the room. We are at the Kilburn Mill, located in New Bedford on West Rodney French Boulevard. It's a 500,000 square foot mill that houses over 100 tenants, and we are always seeking more, so just keep that in mind. Without further ado though, I really am very excited to introduce to you a legend. A legend, sorry, he's so humble, but Barry Goudreau is a guitar god in my estimation, and so welcome to Kilburn Mill.
Oh, you're so kind.
Well, thank you.
My God, a legend.
A legend. Didn't Connie tell you that recently, that you're a legend every morning when you wake up? Good morning, legend.
Yes, I think I remember that.
I'm sure you do. This is your first time at the Kilburn Mill. How you feel about it?
This is, what a fantastic space. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yep.
Huge.
Yes. Yep.
Looking forward to doing some shows here. It's going to be great.
Yeah, you certainly are. You certainly are. So, I mean, I'm sure you already know who Barry Goudreau is, but if you ever heard any of those songs on your radio from Boston, you know that's where this man's name came into being as a legend, already born. A sound. I mean, I'm going to get into a story later that just blow your mind, but it blew my mind. My mind is being blown, so. But anyway, Barry, tell us how, like, what, you were 11 when you picked up a guitar and you started playing? And
I was, yes. I wanted to play guitar when I was even younger, but my parents, they weren't going for it at that point. So by the time I was 11, they borrowed my babysitter's acoustic guitar, and I started taking some lessons, and as the story goes, I played till my fingers bled, and they realized that I was serious about it, and they bought me my first guitar, which was a 1962 white Fender Stratocaster. And
oh my gosh.
I was just on cloud
Oh
nine.
my gosh.
And I joined my first band when I was 13.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the other guys in the band were 15, 16 years old. I've got pictures, and they were all like 6 inches taller than me. And the Fender guitar was so big, it
wow.
looked gigantic on me. But yeah.
You knew what you were born to do. Didn't you play like 7 nights a week when you were a teenager?
Yeah, after I met Sib Hash.
Sib, the crazy man.
Sib,
hey, Sibby, how you doing? He's never.
Yeah, I joined a band with Sib, with another guy from Lynn, my hometown, Lynn, Massachusetts, Johnny Vasilopoulos. And yeah, we did shows that they used to call the Combat Zone in Boston, which was the adult entertainment area.
Oh.
It's gone, long gone now. But we played in a place called the Novelty Bar, and we played 7 nights a week, plus a show on Saturday afternoon. We played till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, it was a real learning experience for me, since John seemingly knew every song that existed, and everything we did was by request. So people would shout out a song title. He would say, key of E, 1, 2, 3, and we'd just jump in. So, it was a real learning experience for me, and really helped develop, my playing style.
Wow, that kind of reminds me of the Beatles, how they just played constantly. They got their, what is it, the 10,000 hours in, and that makes you a genius or something?
10,000 hours, they say that's what it takes to be proficient at anything.
Yes, yes.
I think I've got my 10,000 by now.
I think you have, I think you have. Well, so then in high school you met Brad Delp, and you two began your own high school band, is that?
Well, actually...
am I right?
Close, you're close. A guitar player in Brad's band had decided he was going to leave the band. And he contacted me and said, I'm going to leave the band, and, I don't want to leave them high and dry. I want to bring you into the rehearsal and introduce you as my replacement. So I went to try out, and, Brad, we did Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin. And Brad sang that like I had never heard in my life. I had never heard anything like that except for Led Zeppelin.
The voice.
And unfortunately, I didn't get the gig.
Come on.
But, I kept in the back of my mind, that performance that Brad gave, and you know, later on, when we were looking for a singer for the Boston demos, I got back in touch with Brad, and we actually played together, Tom, Brad, and I, for the first time on Revere Beach.
Oh my gosh!
On a Sunday afternoon jam session. And Tom played the Hammond organ, I played guitar, Brad sang, and we did Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers. Oh, and it was just really special. I mean, wow. It just clicked, and it was so much fun. And
everybody could feel that energy. Everyone had to have known.
Oh, it was great. It was great, yeah.
So that's when you knew, and you just kept climbing that, and then there you go into Boston, and you hit it. You hit the big time. You travel the world. What was that? 55 million records. Is that
Loose counting?
Loose counting. I'm sure it was tons more. You're so humble. That's amazing. I mean, so people knew who you were. So, okay, I'm going to interrupt here because I got a good story, and it's bubbling up inside of me. So here I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. You know, my family runs a nonprofit for wildlife, so we have like monkeys and animals all around the house. And I listen to Joni Mitchell, and I paint, and that's my life, and I deal with animals. And we have all these Volkswagens. My favorite one to drive was the Volkswagen Yellow Thing. Took everything off, the doors, everything's gone except for the windshield, which actually you could, if you wanted to, you know, you could take that down. But driving down the road, listening to the songs I normally do, flipping through the station, and all of a sudden, I hear this sound. It's a sound that I'd never heard before, and it just hit me. Now, turn it up. I had my best friend with me. I'm like, what is that? Listen. And we turn it up as loud as we can. We're going down Madison Road. I can still remember where I was driving. And then when I heard the guitar solo, I knew that it was a new sound that I had never experienced before. And I think people forget that that's the power of music. It literally transformed my understanding of what music was, how it affected my artistic view of the world, and inspired me. And I mean, we were like, yeah. We were just, it was just, our hair was flying, the wind was, of course, blowing in the thing, and that was it. We had to go find out where to get that music, and that was it. I became in love with that music. It was a sound that I'd never heard before, and I don't know how you made it.
Well, I love hearing those stories about when people heard the Boston music for the first time, and you know, I was driving my Camaro, and the song came on, and I couldn't believe it. Or my friends and I were, you know, at the park, and we were smoking a joint, and it came on. Wow, that's fantastic! You know, I love hearing those stories, and it's great that, you know, it affected people in such a way that, what is it, 40 years later? Oh, yep. What am I saying? It's almost 45 years now. Yeah. It's still
timeless. Timeless. Yep.
Timeless, okay, I'll take that.
I would say so, because, you know, if I haven't heard it in a while and it comes back on again, it gets me, and I think I told Connie this recently, that I was driving two of my grandchildren in my daughter's car, and Hale kept saying, turn the channel, not that song, not that song, not that song, and then More Than a Feeling was on. He goes, that song, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, he's 5 years old, and he chose your song out of all the other songs on the radio, and he wanted to hear the whole song, and he wanted me to turn it up. I'm like, there's something magical about the sound, so
I remember
it's
the first
going
time,
on for generations and
the
generations.
first time I heard More Than a Feeling on the radio myself. I remember exactly where I was. I was on the Linway in Lynn waiting at a stop sign. And the music came on, and I was looking around at everybody like,
that's me!
That's me on the radio. And, you know, I think a lot of people have those same stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great. So after Boston, you continued on, and you had, what, RTZ, you had Orion the Hunter, you and Brad had a thing, you had a solo album, Ernie and the Automatics.
Yeah, I did the solo record back in 1980. And, you know, Brad was on that, Sip played drums on that. And after I left Boston, I did the Orion the Hunter. It's Orion.
Oh, Orion.
Orion the Hunter with Fran Cosmo singing. Fran had sang a couple of songs on my solo record. So he seemed like the logical choice to have in the band. And, you know, we did the Orion the Hunter album for Epic Records, and went out and did a tour. We did a tour opening up for Aerosmith. It was actually their Back in the Saddle tour, which was the tour they did when the band got back together after having broken up. But they weren't really totally back in the saddle because they still had some issues, and it was a really interesting tour, to say the least.
Sounds like there's a lot of stories in that.
There's a lot of stories. They had stiffed people so many times by not showing up at shows that they didn't sell any tickets in front. So when they showed up at the sound check, the radio station would say, "Aerosmith is at the venue, they're doing a sound check." And we would get a walk up that would fill the whole room.
Wow.
So, I mean, people loved them, and when they were on stage, they did manage to deliver, no matter what stage they were on.
That's awesome. So you were out back again, and then where'd you go from there?
Well, after that, that was in the mid-'80s. Now we go to the early '90s, and Brian Mace joined as a keyboard player in Orion The Hunter. And Brian and I kept working after the Orion The Hunter band, and he introduced me to Tim Archibald and to David Stefanelli. And we started doing demo tapes. And we had Fergie Fredrickson singing lead. Fergie had sung lead for Toto, the band Toto. And, we put a demo tape together. We had A&R guy come out, and we did a showcase for it. And unfortunately, we didn't get the recording contract. So Fergie decided he needed to move on. He hadn't made any money in months and months and months, and needed to go on to something that, he could support himself with. So we kept working, and, I needed somebody to sing, so I got in touch with Brad. I said, I got some songs where you come down and sing them for me. And he did, and, he was pretty enthusiastic about it. And, one song turned into several, turned into pretty much a whole record. And we decided, let's go ahead and do it. So that became RTZ, or Return to Zero. And of course, the ironic thing is that Brad left Boston to do the RTZ record and tour, and Tom Scholz hired Fran Cosmo, who had been the singer in Orion The Hunter, to replace Brad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a small circle of talent.
Yeah, so, we did the RTZ record, and we toured pretty extensively on it, and I've continued working with those guys ever since. Brian Mace, of course, is the singer in my new band now, the Barry Goodrow's Engine Room. Tim Archibald plays bass in the band, and it's been 30 years now that the three of us have been together, and really looking forward to this new record I've got coming out. It's called The Road. It's our second CD. We did our first one back in 2017. It's called Full Steam Ahead, and we went out and toured regionally on that and did pretty well with it, and really looking forward to getting this new one out. It's coming out on March 19th, so
March
watch
19th.
out for that.
Go to BarryGoudreau.com to
get BarryGoudreau.com or BarryGoudrow'sEngineRoom.com. And there's details there, and of course you can order the record from there.
Yeah, I can tell you from hearing it, just sitting in your kitchen when you turned it on and turned it up, just blown away. It has that essence of Boston, but then it has so much else.
Yeah, well, the first Engine Room record was more of a blues-based record. I was looking back at my blues roots. I really learned how to play lead guitar playing along with Chicago blues records like Paul Butterfield Blues Band and that sort of thing. So our first record was really kind of looking at that period. Where this record, I'm kind of looking back to the early 70s before the Boston success and the stuff I was listening to at that point. Early Deep Purple and Joe Walsh and those kind of acts. And I think it really has that vibe about it. It has that really early classic rock vibe. I think people are going to love it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's been cranked up in my car ever since we left your house.
Well, I got to say that there's more guitar playing on this record than probably my last 2 or 3 records together. And one thing I realized, Brian Mace produced this record, and one thing I realized is that I play better when I'm playing in front of people, even if there's only one other person. Because normally I have a home studio and I do my own recording there. I have done it there. but just having somebody else to bounce it off with really kicked it up another notch, I think. And I got to hand it to Brian. He did a really great job producing this record. So.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you, I think it is about the audience, and I think this whole COVID thing has really, really injured your industry to the point where a lot of people have experienced a lot of depression and anxiety, and you know, we as the people being entertained need live entertainment, but how much more you need to perform, and that's that interaction within a community, the audience responding to you and you responding to them, that makes the whole experience different than listening to it on the radio. And you know, we can't wait for that to come back.
It's been a real struggle for the band members not having any work. I mean, you know, musicians are self-employed, and you know, there's not a whole lot of backup for them, and you know, musicians are just dying to get out and play again, and I know the audiences are waiting too. You know, fortunately for us, we had most of this record recorded before the COVID thing hit. We did record one song sort of online, you know, over the phone and so forth, and it came out well, but if we had to do the whole record that way, it would have been a struggle. So we kind of lucked out by having most of it done before the hit.
You sure did. And so when John Ippolito and I, when we left your house, and you know, we're working on the movie about Sib, you know, yep. Let There Be Drums is coming up, and we're starting to shoot for that soon, and we've been, you know, considering different people's songs and whatnot for the soundtrack, but once we heard that, we're driving home, we're both like, you know, we just found the soundtrack for the movie. So, I mean, you will be hearing Barry's in his Engine Room's, you know, CD as the soundtrack for Let There Be Drums, which part of that will be filmed right here in this room and in New Bedford. The little parts of that is going to be coming in here, so it's absolutely an amazing thing. And matter of fact, we have Barry's CD release party coming up on June 5th here at the Night Stage Performance Center here in Kilburn Mill on June 5th, and tomorrow, I believe at 9 a.m. the tickets are going to go on sale. And because of COVID, we're restricted in the numbers. I think we can have 240 people. So if that is something that you are interested, you might want to do that. And you might also want to know this. We will be filming that night. We will have part of the scene for the movie that's being shot with your band being playing in there. It's gonna.
Oh,
if you want to
be,
yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You just revealed that to me now.
I know. See, I got to surprise you. I'm very excited about this. We have a great videographer, filmmaker we're working with, and a lot of great lineups. Yourself, you're one of the first interviews for the movie about Sib. Sib was an amazing character. Now knowing his wife and family and friends, I've really missed out on somebody special.
Yeah, we really miss him. You know, I met Sib when I was 15. And we've stayed in touch all through our lives, and our families are very close, and really looking forward to this. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does, and I hear you know, he's kind of a wise cracker. And what happened when you guys were going to get the Grammys? What was that story? You were nominated for the Grammys, and you guys made the trip, and well, what was that about, a pair of pants?
No, it was a jacket, actually. We were touring in the Midwest. They had asked us to play on the Grammy show. We were up for the best new rock act, and the record company had said, "You're a shoo-in." You know, we had sold several million records at that point, and they said, "Oh, you're a shoo-in. You got to go to the show." They asked us to play, but we couldn't because we were on tour. So we flew in the same day, and of course back then everybody wore tuxedos. So we had to go to a tuxedo shop and get fitted with tuxedos. And it was all rush. And Sib's tuxedo didn't quite fit right. And he ended up ripping out the arms on it. So it turns out the show, they had us sat right in the front. And actually Dolly Parton was sitting right in front of me. I remember that.
Dolly Parton.
And the very first award was for the best new rock act, and we lost. We lost to the Starland Vocal Band for Afternoon Delight. And then we had to sit through the whole show for a couple hours, like, oh God, I can't believe that.
I can't imagine Sib took that well from everything I hear.
No. Yeah, I mean, it turned out to be a good time. I remember I met Rod Stewart at the show, and we hung out and got to speak a little bit. So, you know.
Isn't that cool? Like, even you rock stars.
And everybody thought we should have won.
Yeah, for sure. You should totally have won that. There's just, weird things happen. I think a lot of things are fixed. But, yeah.
Well, actually, when we went back on tour, the promoter gave us a trophy saying for the Grammy you lost. So I've got that anyway. I've got that going.
You got that going for you. Well, and I think it's just so cool that it was a big moment for you to meet Rod Stewart, you know? So I think it crosses over. It doesn't matter who you are. You have these people that stand out in your mind is great, and you get to meet them. So now you know how I feel. I get to meet you.
Well, I was an
drink your unbelievable wine.
Enormous Jeff Beck fan. Of course, you know, Rod Stewart was the original singer in the Jeff Beck band. And actually, the first arena show we did, the first show in a big arena, was right here in Providence Civic Center. And we were opening up for the Jeff Beck group. And first time in a big stage, you know, we had only done a handful of shows at that point. And we're in the middle of the set. Of course, I'm a nervous wreck, and I look over to my left, 10 feet away, and there's Jeff Beck and Joe Perry's watching with their arms crossed. Oh my God. So after the show, we got to meet Jeff, went back to Jeff's dressing room. Of course, we were on the same record label on Epic Records, and Jeff said, you know, I've heard your record. He said, I didn't think there was any way you were going to reproduce that. He said, but you did. It sounded just like the record. It's like, oh my God, thank God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Fresher.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. So I can't wait to see your band come in here. We're dying to have live music here at Kilburn once again. I know we're going to have Sibs, a drum set of Sibs here. I wonder if we'll be able to use that with your band. I don't know. Maybe. You never know. You never know. I mean, he's always with us, you know. I don't think he's ever very far, the essence of Sib.
So I heard you're going to have Sibs drums and Brad Delp's piano.
Oh, yeah. Chicory. Yeah, is that chicory or chicory?
I have no idea. Yeah. I play the guitar.
Yeah, we have that. John has Mickey brought a synth that here from wherever it was in California, I think.
Yeah.
It's temporarily installed at another location, but eventually will find its way home here. So yeah, we have some amazing things. So who knows the things we're going to do together after that? Because I mean, when we have Sib's drums and we've got Brad's piano, and you've got all these players who've been together all these years, and I think the chemistry that you have with your band is, I mean, it's notable. It's not a band that just kind of got together. It's a band that loves each other and knows each other's movement.
Well, we have 30 years of history, so
yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. So anyway, it's been so wonderful talking to you. I'm so thrilled that you came here and let our audience see you and hear some of your stories. There's many more that we could have told, I'm sure.
No, it's great to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I know everybody's dying to get out of the house and go to a show and see some rock and roll, and we're dying to get out there and play some rock and roll.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll be right there in the front row. Remember that one time you played? I got to be in the front row. And, you know, of course, you didn't know my story about the thing at that point, and then you just wailed on the guitar, and you were up on the stage, and I almost passed out. I was like, oh my God. And you looked right at me, and I thought, you know, that's a performer, that's a person that loves the audience and understands the power of what he's doing. And you are just an amazing guitar god. You are. So I'm going to thank you for being here, and we can't wait to have you back June 5th. June 5th will be Barry Goudreau's Engines Room's CD release party. And you can get your tickets starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. They will be on Eventbrite, and you will be able to purchase them. And you might not want to wait too long, because I know a lot of people are waiting for 9 o'clock so they can start buying their tickets. We'd love to have you. We'd love you to be a part of the shoot that we're going to be doing for the film. And also we have, you know, another virtual show coming up here in 2 weeks with Ernie Bach Jr. From the Ernie and the Automatics, but better known as an incredible businessman and party thrower. But we're going to hear what he's been doing in National Geographic coming up soon. But I'll tell you what, I just feel like this is such a great night. Why don't we end it on a really good note? Bye.